What is it that drives you? Once, the Lord of Light banished dark and all that stemmed from humanity. And men assumed a fleeting form. These are the roots of our world. Men are props in the stage of life, and no matter how tender, how exquisite, a lie will remain a lie.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Ghostly French Toast, and today we're doing an interesting topic, something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. And this is about the Throne of Want. Personally, I think this is one of the most confusing endings in the series, just for like a new players to say. So I'm just gonna give it a shot and try explaining it from my point of view. So enough dawdling around, let's dive on in. I personally believe the Throne of Want is basically a metaphor to say for the theme of the game, Dark Souls 2 itself. Because Dark Souls 2 is about the desires of everyone, like how Vendrick desires to have a great large kingdom, how Nissandra desires to take the throne, how the Emerald Herald desires for the game to end, and like Lucatiel also has a desire to free from the curse. And that's something to take into consideration because it's called the Throne of Want for a reason. And if we look at Aldia also desires something, to basically find out about the curse, and desires to save everyone from it. In the beginning, there was just gray crag fields and arch trees. Dragons ruled over the overworld. I said this countless of times, but I'm just gonna recap it. And as time went on, fire began, and 4 powerful lords found the Lord Souls in the flames. Gwen, Lord of Sunlight; Nito, God of Death; Islith, Mother of Pyromancies; and the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. And they waged war on these ancient dragons, to basically see who gets to rule over the overworld. And the lords won the war and basically took over the world, to say. And Lord Gwen basically put his sunlight all around the world. Something that's very important to take note of is Gwen's personality. He doesn't want his kingdom to fade, and this comes into play later. So after some time passed, the fire that gave him the Lord Souls began to fade, and the fire was the thing that allowed the world to keep thriving, to keep going, to say. And Gwen was like, oh shit, I gotta figure something out. And Islith's like, hey, I got you covered. And Islith had the bright idea to duplicate the first flame. It wasn't like reignite the first flame. I know people do get confused with that. It's a duplication. It's something, it's like, because if you look at the Chaos Ember from DS1, it says it was duplicated, not replaced. That's something I like to take, I see a lot of people mistake, but that's not really important. But sooner or later, all hell broke loose, and everyone in Islith was turned to demons. And Gwen waged war, all that, yada yada. You can watch my Islith lore video if you want a more in-depth about the chaos and Islith as a whole. But here's the important part. Gwen sacrificed himself into the fire to keep it going, because as long as you have a powerful soul in the fire will continue going. And something to take note of is the undead curse that came with it. I personally believe that is not, I know people believe that is the first sin of man, Gwen casting himself into the fire, but I do not believe that. I believe Islith was the first sin. I went that in my Islith video. You can check that out. It's a good video. I like it. But the thing is with that, in DS2 we find these things called Sublime Bone Dust, if I'm correct. And that allows you to reinforce your Estus Flask. In the description of Sublime Bone Dust is a saint who cast himself into flames to keep the Age of Light going. And that's the thing. That was you. And I think there's 12 Sublime Bone Dusts in the game. So we know there's around like 12 or more Ages of Fire or Dark Ages of Fire. And We know once you cast your body in the flame, it doesn't really matter if you choose to get rid of the Age of Fire or link the fire itself, because it's always going to come back. If you look at the Dull Ember, for example, the Dull Ember basically states, even though it's going to be dark, the Age of Dark's coming and all, but there's still going to be one ember, and that's going to ignite. It's just a constant, like, battle. It's like yin and yang, to say. And that's the thing. That kind of implies that it doesn't matter. Because if you look at DS2 and DS3, your actions don't matter. It still continues no matter what. It's a constant battle, and that's the problem. It's not really a problem to say. It's more of the rules of the world, if that makes sense. And now going back to Dark Souls 2, now that we have the idea of why kilns are important, we kind of understand what the Throne of One is. It's basically the desire to get rid of the undead curse, to say. Because if we look at Vendrick, he could have sat on the Throne of One, but he took something from the Giants and didn't have the Giants' kinship. And that basically allowed him not to get on the throne. And I actually have an idea for a Vendrick lore video coming out probably in 2 weeks or so, because I need some more research on it, but I think it's interesting. Alright, going back to the Throne of Want and all, but with the Giants' kinship, it reads, it basically talks about how every kingdom had a throne, but it always fell to ruin and all. And that's kind of like implying what Dark Souls 2 is just gonna happen again and again. If we look at the 4 great ones, they have the Lord Souls in them on New Game Plus 1. And I'm just saying, I personally believe the Throne of One is basically a metaphor. I can't say today, I can't speak. A metaphor of how the Age of Fire is an Age of Dark are in a constant battle, to say, a constant struggle. Because as long as one happens, the one's going to happen after that. So on and so forth. We sort of see this in DS3, sorry. With the two, the Usurp the Fire ending and the Linking the Fire. But there's one other ending, was the Lord of Hollows. And that's basically, I don't think that's the Dark ending, actually. I think that's basically saying that humans are like, we're done with this. We don't want to be a part of this constant struggle. And the reason that I believe that is because if we look at Ashes of Ariandel, we see how people operate outside the pain, outside of the world, and how it works. They have to burn the pain away to create a new one. And I feel like that's what Dark Souls 3's purpose, the breaking of the chain, the breaking of the cycle, the breaking of the loop, to say, if that makes sense. And that all ties back to the Throne of One, because this was the first time, around the time when we're playing, like a few hundred years before, Alia figured out that we have been rigged, the world has been rigged in their favor. And I just feel like that's what the Throne of Want represents. How everything is just going to constantly repeat itself, if that makes sense. I really actually enjoyed just talking about this, because I was thinking last night, I'm like, hey, this would be a cool theory video I can work on. I can probably get it done in the morning. I can do the voiceover, all that kind of spiel. Sorry for the lack of videos recently. I just started high school swimming. I've just been stressed out, all that kind of spiel. And yeah, check out my streams. I've been trying to stream more. I'm probably going to stream some Dead Cells today, the new DLC for Dead Cells, or some Dark Souls 2. So enough dawdling around, and see you next time. Yo, sleep, run, toast. Bye.